right, everybody. We are back. First special edition of the pod, because joining myself, Paul Russo, in the Fresh Takes domain tonight with the legend himself, Nick Felice. First time back during this COVID nonsense. We got somebody in studio with us. I'm very excited. But first, we go to Nick. Nick, how you doing? I know you struggled a little bit over the weekend, so it's good to see you're doing better. You know, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good.
As apparently it did not cut over properly. There we
go. I'm good, Paul. Everyone go out there and get vaccinated. That's all I got to say.
All right.
It's going to be a good pod because we got a good guest.
We do. First time in studio since the pandemic.
I don't think
Russo
that's true.
is back with us.
No, I think it is.
I don't think that's true.
Pat Russo back with us.
Really? Get the tape.
I think it is my first time back in about over a year. It's been a while.
This all started courtesy of a Twitter exchange between Pat and Nick.
Mm-hmm. So. It did. We're going to get into it.
Look at the tape. I think he's been on.
I think it's been over a year.
I think it has been pre-pandemic since Pat's been with us.
You want me to go even further? I'd go about a year and a half. I'd say the end of 2019.
Yeah,
I don't know
probably.
if I was ever on in 2020.
Yeah.
I'd say about over a year and a half.
But Pat's with us anyway because
you got all the notes and stats. You should know.
Me and Nick were trying to, we had two topics pretty much ready to go that we knew, but we tried to figure out like a third one, and kind of just dropped right at my doorstep a little bit on Twitter this morning. Well, this afternoon. I don't know by the time I saw Twitter, and the tweet exchange between Pat and Nick.
Yeah,
I was going to say, because I did not hear about a third topic. I didn't know what he was talking about. But
Well, we were trying to figure out a third one here, but we're going to discuss the NBA playoff picture we got going on there. No hitters in the MLB and the underlying problem with them, even though they're historic. And Tim Tebow signing with the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get
I get it now.
I can't wait.
Because that's right.
Yeah, because that's what we're talking about.
I can't wait to get Pat's inner Stephen A. Smith going. I'm very excited. So,
yeah.
Anything, Nick, before we get going? Because lately we've been having.
I'm excited to hear what Pat's got to say. I don't. You know what? Just let him take over. No,
Jeez.
But it's gonna be a great show. I hope you haven't turned away yet.
I think this might be the first podcast too where I've been practically clean shaven as well. So,
really?
Yeah.
Look at the tape, really.
First time I've
been. Have the tape.
This is the first time I thought back on this. I think I've attempted to go fully clean shaven since I graduated college 5 years ago now. Literally.
I always remember you, Paul. The first time you came back, I think it was October break.
You looked like a hobo.
Yeah.
Freshman year?
You looked homeless.
Yeah.
Well, we were still in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and,
it was a...
you came home, I was like,
I remember we were playing basketball that day. Basketball. He came around the corner of the house. I was saying that.
I might be able to explain myself. It was an interesting time with the ball.
You looked like you didn't find the classroom yet.
Wow. Damn. That was
You looked like you were straight out of the movie Castaway.
Hold on. That was the spring semester where I was struggling hardcore.
Bring that look back.
I don't want to look back.
Okay.
Part of that's an era I want to kind of
explain yourself.
Out.
Why? What was the deal with that look?
I'm gonna just life, choices. Pat can explain it to you later on.
Okay.
The NBA playoff picture. Boy, oh boy, is it getting exciting here within the final week now. But it has been pretty exciting the past couple.
It is for our teams.
Well. Yeah, for two of our teams, aka Knicks, and Pat's Nets, not too much to worry about. My Heat, though, on the other hand, we're playing a dangerous game. Well, no, as I said to my dad,
what's the score right now?
I can't remember. Pat's got a stat boy over there, the actual Tony Reale.
Celtics are up 76-30 in the third quarter.
That's a false score.
68-62 Heat.
All right. So as I said, I said this to my dad. I think whoever wins this Celtic Heat game tonight pretty much solidifies them not being in the play-in tournament. Just like momentum-wise and stuff like that. Even though I think mathematically, technically, they can still get it, but either way,
there's still like 8 games left in the regular season.
I thought there was only like 3 or something.
8 games. It's
There's no way they're down to only 3.
Sunday's the end.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a 72-game season.
Dude, like Friday, someone on TNT was like, "Yeah, the Nets got 10 more games left this season."
The play-in tournament is middle of next week.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I am incorrect.
Was it Barkley?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, you better go tell Kyrie and KD it's starting.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna be in the play-in.
If you don't know, I'm a Knicks fan, Paul's a Heat fan, and Pat is a Nets fan.
This is the first time I can be excited about basketball since like 2002. Give me a break. When I was 7, and I thought basketball was, hey, I'm just gonna do a spin move and look cool.
Whatever Mr. Baker taught you.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, it's a good time to be a Nets fan. The East doesn't scare me in the slightest.
Ooh.
I think what the folks want.
I'm gonna be honest. Hold on. I know I give you and Matt a lot of crap for the Knicks. The only team in my opinion that can compete with the Nets in the playoffs is the Knicks.
Wow.
Really?
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there. I understand the Knicks don't really have much of a score outside of Julius Randle. However, they're scrappy and can play defense. Milwaukee, if Giannis has an off game, it got proven last night. Giannis had an off game, still scores 28, and they let the Spurs score 146. I ain't worried about them. You're telling me that Ben Simmons has to score 30 a game to compete with Brooklyn? I'm not worried. Paul, no offense to your Heat, but nobody on that team scares me offensively. Not a single player offensively. The Celtics have a bunch of guys that just want the ball. They don't have anyone that's willing to just say, listen, I'm going to facilitate. I'm just going to do this for the betterment of the team. Everyone wants their contract. Nobody cares about that team. Who am I missing?
Well,
Who else is sitting there? Who's fifth? Who's sitting fifth in the East? The Hawks, yeah. Trae Young scares me. Ooh, a guy that he either needs to stop at the foul line to force a foul or throw it up from 75 to be relevant. I'm not worried.
So was Paul right about Trae Young? Sidebar.
Does anybody in the West scare you?
At this exact point in time, if the Suns find a way to get there...
Does a 7-seeded Lakers team scare you?
I mean, it's LeBron, but not really. You're telling me that supporting cast, like Kyle Kuzma, when they told him you got to be the man, shot 2 for 15.
Does your big three only playing 7 games make you nervous?
No, not in the slightest.
But we've seen big threes in the past, and it takes time to develop.
It does, but I'm also going to say...
Paul will remember, I always remember this.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
big
three
big
of Magic Johnson, Michael Cooper, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
The Miami Heat's big three. They scored 9 points in their first ever quarter playing with each other.
In their first ever quarter playing with each other.
Yeah.
And against.
I think in the Nets' first quarter, the big three, they combined for 55 points. I ain't worried. Kyrie Irving hit a shot to win a finals. Kevin Durant scored 38 in a series.
You know what would be entertaining for this podcast? You think it would be me and Pat going at each other about Knicks and Nets. But off screen, this has been a very good, entertaining, conversation we've had together off screen.
Don't even bring up the Heat. They're not relevant.
Paul's Heat versus Pat's Nets. If that is a first-round matchup, that will be an entertaining one in the Russo household. First, Paul, I just want to get your comments on the Nets, and then Paul, I want Pat's comments on the Heat.
Nets in 4.
I mean, the Nets. I mean, yeah, cool. You got Durant. You got Kyrie. You got Harden. Blake Griffin's playing the best ball he's played in probably a handful of years, right? Admittedly. But out of the 4 I just named, there's only one that does really well without the ball in their hand. Kevin Durant. Defensively, they're shaky. Very shaky. It's going to be, in my mind, tough for the Nets when it comes down to whether it's game deciding or pivotal moments in games where there won't be, to a degree, some sort of infighting. We've kind of seen it a little bit before with James Harden, with Westbrook last year to a degree. Well, I guess 2 years before that, really.
No. Let's continue.
Okay.
I got him stable.
Kyrie, we know his deals when he doesn't get his way. Blake's the weird one in this because I don't understand where he kind of fits as a big guy, but, hey, gotta do him. So, I don't know. And their weird consortium of coaches, all year that has not sat well with me.
Now, Pat, I want to hear your take on your defending Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat.
Thank you.
So your concern is the Nets defense. Who in the world is scoring for Miami? You got they're averaging.
Do you want him to talk?
I mean, can I also throw
Yes.
this out there? Bring up the Harden one at Westbrook. Westbrook, it was very passionate. I'm not going to take that away from him. But you're talking about a guy that has such a short fuse in Westbrook that if you just look at him wrong, he gets mad. So don't bring up the fact that on the court 99% of the time, Kyrie and KD are pretty level-headed. Don't come at them sideways. Don't. Kyrie Irving was the literal glue guy for the Celtics. He found a problem and wanted out, and Boston and the media scapegoated Kyrie, and 99% of this country fell for that bait. Kyrie said, I want to be here for life. I love being here. 6 months later, he said, listen, this ain't a fit. I don't feel right. Something's going on behind the scenes. And everyone took it and ran with it, saying Kyrie's the bad guy. Now you have the veterans of the NBA that are on that team, which have to be the Tristan Thompsons, the Kemba Walkers, coming out saying these young guys don't care about this team. They just want to put up numbers. It's the truth. It's been the truth for Jason Tatum's 4 years on the Celtics. It's been the truth for Tatum's 3 years and Brown's 4 years. So the media, the national media and ESPN got you guys to hate Kyrie, and it worked. And you all took the bait.
Now, my comment on both teams. I think this would be a hell of a series.
We'll see you in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think
see you there.
Jimmy Butler is one of the most underrated players in the game. I think Kyrie Irving is one of the more overrated players in the game. But I think Kevin Durant, when healthy, is the best player in the game.
It's not a discussion.
And I think Eric Spoelstra, when healthy, is the best coach in the game.
When has he ever not?
I was about to question.
Hold on.
Hold on, wait. Does he like pull a hamstring
Yeah.
when he's like drawing up a play?
I also
Like-
want to throw this out there. I've never once said anything bad about Jimmy Butler. That dude is a dog, and the biggest mistake the Bulls, the Sixers, and the Timberwolves all made, well, in the order, it would have been Bulls, Timberwolves, and Sixers. The biggest mistake all of them made was letting that man walk. Because it still blows my mind that you sit down, Jimmy Butler, the story comes out that he leads the third stringers in a scrimmage against all the starters in Minnesota, beats them, walks off the court yelling at every front office man in Minnesota saying, you effing need me here. And then it later comes out that he didn't even score in that scrimmage. So he willed all of those third-team players to beat Karl Anthony Towns.
Or if you've seen Game of Zones,
So
it was Jimmy, two reserve players, the Muffin Man, and that goat.
That's probably what it was. But I will never knock Jimmy Butler. That dude, he is a hustler. He knows how to get it done. My thing is, at the end of the day, who's going to be there with him to get it done? Because nothing against Bam Adebayo, but I'm going to say this. That man's 7 feet tall. At halftime against the Celtics, whose current center is Marcus Smart, he had 1 rebound. You're telling me I need to be worried about a 7-foot-tall man getting 1 rebound and a half. DeAndre Jordan gets 1 rebound walking in from the tunnel. Blake Griffin has 6 rebounds before Bam Adebayo sees the floor.
Did you just say Marcus Smart's the center? For
He
the
might as well be.
Celtics?
He might as well be at this point because they don't have him.
Do you get
Pat
nervous?
Williams is playing today.
Do you get nervous?
Robert Williams?
Whatever. What's the difference?
Pat Williams
They're
is the
time
guy
machines.
in Chicago. I
Their
think.
time machine, the guy,
think.
whatever. Either way, before we, because you bring up a good point. Now, personally, I do have some gripes with this individual.
With who? Bam?
No.
Marcus Smart?
No.
Where?
You brought it up with Jimmy Butler. Can we just give a big shout out to Tom Thibodeau?
Shout out. A little early for
It's
mine.
pretty apparent that the main issues going on in Minnesota weren't Jimmy,
No.
weren't Tibbs.
No. It's the front office.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know.
Although I'm
You-
not-
at this point, you might be able to say it's Cat because I mean, I don't know if you can say
I
it's
don't
Cat
think-
because
I
he's
don't
put like
think it's
35 and
Cat.
15, and they're still losing
No.
by 50. So, well, not 50, but 20.
Tom Thibodeau's a hell of a coach.
I just feel bad because Tibbs might not be there for when that team reaches its true ascension.
Well, yeah, it's like Kenny Atkinson with the Nets. I mean, would it be great to have Kenny there? Of course. Do I want it to be Steve Nash? I don't know.
That's my question about
But-
Steve Nash. Do you get nervous that Steve Nash could get outcoached in the playoffs?
I don't know. Was LeBron nervous about being outcoached in the playoffs? Clearly not. You
But-
all know at the end of the game.
To
You
quote the
all
great
know.
Wheezy F baby, do you ever get nervous?
But-
You know at the end of a game, Steve Nash ain't drawing the play up.
In-
Kevin Durant's going to draw it up.
But
Or
in
Kyrie.
3 of LeBron's 4 championship wins, I think he had an elite coach. Eric Spoelstra twice and Frank Vogel once. Tyronn Lue still up for
Ooh,
grabs.
man.
You got to
you're-
keep this in mind. He
Frank
took
Vogel,
You got
elite?
to. You got to.
Yeah, he's elite. He took that Pacers team deep in the playoffs every year. He's a good coach.
He's a good coach. I don't know if if I'm thinking elite coach, I'm thinking like Popovich.
Spo.
Right now, I probably current coaches. I'd end of that list probably. I'd say he's great.
I mean,
He's not elite yet.
Spo?
No, Vogel.
Oh.
Now here's the thing: if let's say for some reason, because ankle injuries linger, if for some reason I hope it doesn't happen, I don't wish injury upon anyone. If LeBron sprains his ankle again, and the Lakers find a way to get to the finals and find a way to get a title, then I will definitely throw Vogel in there because that's gonna take some coaching. Like when your 2 scorers have to be Anthony Davis and Andre
Probably
Drummond.
Dennis Schroeder at that point.
Dennis Schroeder doesn't even scare me. He had, throwing this out there too, he had to be the 3rd scorer all season. He's averaging 7 a game. He's averaging 16 a game, I think. But
Before we get into the Lakers, I need to ask you a personal question.
okay,
You've been a Nets fan your whole life.
yeah.
Has anyone ever come up to you and called you a bandwagoner?
Pat's a bandwagon fan, clearly.
I don't think so.
What would you say to someone if someone did come up to you? Maybe someone now in the public eye knows you're a Nets fan and doesn't realize that you've been a fan your whole life. What would you say?
I will go to bat for Pat. I
The
remember
reason
this guy
I wear
had the
number
red-
5 is because of Jason Kidd. So
That's what I was going to say. Pat had the red jerseys growing up for the Nets.
Yeah.
Like, homeboy been in
yeah,
it.
the reason I wear number 5 is I was there for the 12-win season when Josh Boone was our best player, averaging 8 and 8.
Oh,
and that was
Josh
pathetic.
Boone.
That was sad.
I
And
was-
Ned Christage.
Wait a second. Are we playing this game? Can I
No.
Can I get Matt Moore? Mikey Moore. That was his
Mikey
name.
Moore.
Mikey Moore.
I just asked because, even though it is a New York team, so it's not that surprising, but it's just not, But my brother went through this with the Seahawks, and
Yeah, I
people
know.
would come up to him as a bandwagon
I
Seahawks
know.
fan because of their years where they were really
and it
good.
stinks.
It
It
sucks.
doesn't feel good.
It's like
But
Paul.
this is-
It's like Paul. Same question to you.
Hello.
What were those like? Coming up to you as a
Oh, it was about the worst given the fact that Erie, Pennsylvania is like an hour away from Cleveland.
yeah, but even as a Miami fan,
Yeah. I mean, I still get it. Like, I mean, hey, it is what it is, but
yeah.
now Nick's going to get it with the Knicks. You
Probably
bandwagon fan.
Probably not. I
Probably
don't-
not.
They're
I'm
not there
starting
yet.
this thing right now. Nick, you bandwagoner.
I mean, Pat shouldn't get as much because it is a New York team, so it shouldn't be. It's like when you root for someone outside your state, like a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
Say the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl, people will come up to you.
Nobody will come up to me because
If the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, they're gonna think you're a bandwagon fan.
See, here's the issue, though. Around here, there's a lot of Dolphin fans.
Well,
Everyone I
NFL
know knows I'm a
I
Dolphins
should
fan.
say this: NFL is different because there is fans of all teams around
Yeah.
here. But
I used to work with a Cardinals fan. I never thought I'd ever meet an Arizona Cardinals fan.
To be fair, I've never met a Texans fan around here.
no,
I don't know if I have.
they're not all here, but there's a lot. Lakers,
Lakers?
are they in trouble?
No. You gotta. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. If LeBron is 100% for this play-in tournament, I don't care that they gotta play the Warriors. Curry's gonna need 85. He's gonna. Because the Lakers with LeBron, they were the 1 seed, and then he went down. It's the wheels started to fall off. They're gonna be fine. Everyone's saying here, oh, they're gonna panic. They're gonna panic. No, they're not. LeBron's gonna come in, do what LeBron does. My concern with the Lakers is going to be the second round of the playoffs or the third round, whatever it's going to be considered. The Western Conference quarterfinals. Because if you're coming out of the play-in, your next game is going to have to be the Suns, the Jazz, or the Clippers. With LeBron, they didn't do good against the Clippers. Pretty sure 3 of the 4 games they played against the Clippers, they had LeBron. Did not look good in any of them. Against the Jazz, they're letting their team be run by analytics, which
Do
I
any of those
absolutely
3
hate.
teams not want to play Lakers? They trying to.
If I'm gonna say this, because they run their team based off analytics, if I'm the Jazz, I wouldn't want the Lakers. Because if you're gonna sit there and say, okay, Joe Ingles, you're coming off the bench tonight, you can only take 6 threes. If he goes 6 for 6, you're telling him he's done shooting? Because that's what your numbers say? Yeah. Because we saw what happened for the Rays when Blake Snell was throwing an absolute gem in Game 6, and then, well, analytically, you should come out. But no. If I'm the Jazz, based on the way you run your team and organization, I would be terrified of the Lakers. So for any reason they don't get the Lakers in the quarterfinals, I could see him making a run. I could see him possibly finding their way to the Western Conference Finals. I think the Suns don't get enough credit. Paul can attest to it. I can't stand Chris Paul in the slightest. I think he's been a dirty player for most of his career. I think for the majority of his career where he was the president of the Players Association.
Still is.
I don't think he is anymore. Or is he? Well, even if he is, he benefits from it because there are clear times where he should have been teed up, and guys on other teams have been teed up for the exact same stuff he would do.
Any concern that it might be Cliff the whole time?
It very well could be Cliff. But that's one where, Chris Paul elevates every team he's on. Everywhere he goes, he finds a way to make everyone better. He finds a way to make the team better. He's a true facilitator. And the scary thing with him is he can get 15 assists and he can still drop 30 on you. The Suns, I would be worried if I'm the Lakers, I'm scared of the Suns. I'm scared of the Clippers. No one else in the West would scare me if I'm the Lakers. I truly think if the seeding allows for it, though, you're going to see the Suns and the Clippers. Because I think the Lakers are going to run into the Clippers before the Western Conference Finals. And self-dubbed playoff P, Paul George, will be the reason those Clippers find a way through to the
That'd be funny.
What?
That'd be funny because
one of these years he's got to prove it. One of these years he's got to say, I'm playoff P, I'm here, let's go.
That's playoff PP.
That's an interesting conference finals because the Clippers nor Chris Paul have ever made the finals.
Right. So that would be, you're going to see history. I just think, and this isn't anything against LeBron or Davis. I'm going to say a lot against Davis because I think he doesn't get enough slack for what he did in New Orleans. This is just because of injuries why the Lakers don't go as far as they do. Because a 36-year-old LeBron on a seriously injured ankle. Anthony Davis, who's got a history of injuries. Andre Drummond, who you should be giving meaningful minutes to. You're playing 15 minutes a game. You got to turn the keys at that point to Kuzma and Dennis Schroeder, which when you turned it over to them the first time, they combined for 8 points in 6 games. Like, God.
LeBron's not playing tonight.
No, he's going to come back tomorrow against the Rockets because he's got to, try to show up and score 50 in his return. But it's going to come down to injuries is the reason why the Lakers don't go far this year. That's all it's going to be. If they do make it far, good for them.
Would you be hyped if it was a Nets-Lakers finals?
Would I be hyped? If I could say that Durant was able to beat LeBron and the Lakers in the finals, I would love it.
Is that who you want if you went to the finals? You had to pick one. You just want to beat them in the finals.
You want to be honest? My hatred for Chris Paul trumps it. I want to beat Chris Paul in the finals. I want the Suns.
Really?
I want the Suns. I want Chris Paul to get that close to it.
Have the Nets been to a finals?
Oh, yeah.
NBA finals?
Yeah.
When they win the championship?
Oh, they got swept. They got swept. And then they lost in 5.
Okay.
They squeaked one out against the Spurs.
New Jersey days.
Yeah, the New Jersey days. And then the boys split up.
They've been in Brooklyn a while now.
2012?
Yep.
2012.
Yeah?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Oh, your thoughts on the Lakers?
Well, I think the main thing with them is rest. I mean, so theoretically, you have to think worst case scenario for them right now, right? So the Warriors, if everything were to end today, right, they play the Warriors. And that's not going to be an easy game for them. It's just not going to be. They don't have the true shooting to keep up with the Warriors.
That's another thing. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he is criminally overrated.
So at that point, say they lose that series, right? They go and they have to play obviously that next series, the losing series, because they're the higher seed out of the two. So at that point, like they played through what was it? October last year, October. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The injuries are going to wear
it's not even so much the injuries I'm worried about. It's just the fatigue, the grind of it, right? Theoretically, they haven't had a break now in borderline 18 months when you think about it. Yeah, they had the pandemic, but they need to be on their toes the whole time because they didn't know what was going to happen. So you've had this team on the road, and that's the problem, I think, with teams, period, that made deeper playoff runs last year. You know, like the Heat, Celtics, the West last year, Clippers, Nuggets, Lakers. I think, you know, to a degree, you'll probably see them struggle the further they get along the playoffs unless something happens here, which is maybe a saving grace, for instance, for a team like the Nets, who got sent home in September last year. You know, for a team like the Sixers, who got sent home the first week of October. For a team, you know, in the West, say, you know, like obviously the Suns, who weren't even in it last year, right? Like the Jazz, who got sent home at the end of September last year. You know, to me, it's kind of like a wide open deal going in. You know what, like what I'm talking about. Your path to June at this point, right? If you have the rest, and that's the thing about the play-in thing. If you're the Lakers, right, you have extra series that you theoretically don't need to be playing. Obviously, through injuries, just basketball, the sport itself, now they're in that situation. But you're playing borderline an extra month of basketball that you don't need to be playing. It's a tough call. I don't, you know. I'd say normally, especially with basketball, I'm like, I was that way with the Warriors. Like, well, we'll see when, you know, the Warriors actually fall off, right?
Yeah, we used to say that.
I mean, even now, it's like, to a degree, up until this year, I was like, well, me and LeBron's still out there, you know. But this year, you really don't know. Especially for a guy like LeBron, who was such a big proponent of the play-in tournament. Now he really isn't, so it's wild. I think we're going to see something as basketball fans that we aren't used to seeing.
I am excited for this play-in tournament. That starts on Tuesday, Pat.
I don't care about the play-in tournament.
It would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
And it would be the 2 games, I'm assuming.
I mean, I'll watch the games, but like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Would you be rooting for the Lakers to lose though?
If they play the Warriors, like, I love Steph. I love Draymond. He is one of my favorite players. I love him. I'd love to see him and Steph be able to do something without Clay. Like, could you imagine? You walk in, you're going to the Staples Center, you're playing LeBron and AD, and y'all walk away with a play-in tournament win as the worst team record-wise.
Pat, are you sure that you want that, though? You know who's a teammate of them.
Who? Oh, Kelly Oubre, that's right. I think he's terrible, but that's another discussion for another day.
Who's worse, Oubre or Wiggins?
Oubre, it's not even close. Oubre, and it's not close.
Really?
Oh, my God. Oubre had a 44-point game. He came
Sounds
out
like
trying
a
to
Russo
match
conversation that I missed.
I love teasing Pat about Oubre.
We'll see what happens in this playing tournament. It's going to be interesting, I guess, but I don't know.
All right.
It is what it is.
Any last thoughts quick before we move on?
Brooklyn in 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's going to shut out anyone. Or maybe, like, no-hit them.
I wish we had a penalty box.
I'm going home.
God
I'm going
damn
home
it,
on that
Nick.
note.
All right. Well, in the past week, we've had 2 no-hitters in the MLB, which is really great. Don't get me wrong. We enjoy history. But at the same token, we've already had 3 official ones for the year.
Almost had 2 on the same day.
One of them was a perfect game that then went to a no-hitter.
In my personal record book, we've had 4. The Bumgarner one.
That would be 5.
Yeah, that'd be 5, wouldn't it?
No, that would have been 4, right?
5.
You just said there have been 4 this year.
No, there have been 3.
There have been 4.
5. You're forgetting Rondon.
No, yeah, I'm counting Rondon,
Musgrove.
Miley. Oh, Musgrove. That's right. I forgot about Musgrove.
I mean,
yeah.
First of all,
but
any game pitched to completion, no matter the amount of innings, with no hits, is a no-hitter. So that's just my opinion on it. The fact that they're saying, well, it was a shortened game. Yeah, well, you guys agreed to shorten it. You agreed that all the stats were count. Therefore, that should be a no-hitter. But whatever. Fire Manfred. Continue.
Man fraud.
I had a no-hitter in wiffle ball once.
Nice.
Interesting.
It was only a 3-inning game.
Also doesn't count. Was it 9?
Nope, they quit. Everyone quit, and I threw it.
What about in bunt baseball?
Bunt baseball, no.
Physically impossible to get a no-hitter in bunt baseball.
Yeah,
it is.
Anyway.
Yeah, on this no-hitters, though, I like it. but there is a lot of strikeouts. But it's better than home runs, right? I mean, we were just complaining about how there's way too many home runs. The home runs are down, and the strikeouts are actually up still.
But that's the thing. Pitching velocity is actually down this year.
Mm-hmm. Averages are terrible.
Averages are low. And you kind of mention it, but actually in the no-hitters, it's like been a fairly average strikeout rate for the pitchers in the no-hitters so far, overall. I think, Miley had 7...
Miley had like 12.
Did he?
Yeah. He
Who
had
had the
double
7
digits.
then?
Who had the what?
I'm pretty sure
had,
Miley
7.
had double digits.
Either way.
7 what?
Strikeouts.
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure Miley hit
But I
double
mean, that's the
digits.
other thing, too, about this, right? You have no-hitters coming from these guys who, like... I'm not saying they have no business throwing no-hitters. Like, that's very ignorant of me. But, like, even I tweeted him, like, Wade Miley threw a no-hitter, a statement I never thought I'd have to say in my lifetime. Like, it's wild. But, like, to me, and I know it got pointed out, too, like, I've seen a couple articles. I haven't read them fully yet. But, like, and I kind of agree with them to a degree. Like, there is a bit of a hitting problem going on. Now, it's not so much to me like the home runs or anything like that or strikeouts. Like, that stuff ebbs and flows anyway. But, like, fundamentally, like, hitting is kind of bad right now for a professional level. Like, obviously, there's still, like, super better hitters than any of us, obviously, have ever been. Not a knock on us, but let's be honest. But, like, fundamentally, like, hitting is pretty bad right now professionally. So, like, I don't know, like, what are you guys seeing? Because, like, to me, it's just bad at bats for the most part. Definitely helping out the pitching wise as well, obviously, which has led to these no hitters, obviously, as well. Because we've had 5 or 6, whatever you want to call it, through barely the first 6 weeks of the season. It's pretty crazy to me. So, where do you guys kind of sit on this?
I think people are just swinging for the fences too much. I think it's because of the shifts. I think if we come up with a rule where you just got to keep 1 foot on the infield dirt, until the ball is thrown, then I think that will they'll get rid of the shifts. They got to do something to get rid of the shifts because it is ruining baseball. I mean, shifts have always been a thing. There's always been the left-hander shift. But these guys need to get out of right field. They need to stop putting a bunch of people out in right field. People need to start butting the ball the other way just to get on base.
Well, that's the thing that I talk about with fundamentally bad hitting, right? Bunting in and of itself is like a lost art. Like, I remember growing up, like, Jason Giambi, favorite player, personally favorite player of all time. Like, guy grew up, like, not, like, idolizing, but, like, as a rotund kid growing up, I'm like, damn, this dude's awesome. And every now and then, to keep the defense on his toes, if they shifted on him, he would bunt freaking right down the third base line and end up with a single a lot of the times. And that's just something you don't see anymore because they just aren't teaching, like, bunting anymore. It's literally a lost art.
I loved bunting. It was my favorite thing to do in baseball. Aside from fueling, I loved bunting. Nobody really expects bunts anymore. So, for anyone, if you lay down a bunt, you're probably going to single off it. I don't care where the ball goes. Unless you pop it up, you're probably getting to first off it. But my whole thing with this, I don't mind that there's all these no-hitters. It really doesn't bother me. Because last year, even 2 years ago, you're having 15 to 13 games. Everyone's saying, oh, this is amazing. Everyone's using all their pitchers and everyone's hitting the ball 450 feet. This is great. It's just the opposite. I don't mind that there's all these no-hitters. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, you want to get a hit, get a hit. I know it's easier said than done, but you don't want a guy throwing a no-hitter? Do something about it. You get 3 at-bats.
No, I agree with that, yeah.
Also, going back to the whole thing where you're mentioning NBA players, these guys that went deep, they might be fatigued. Look at some of these teams that are getting no-hit. And look at some of these other guys where, okay, pitchers will always get their rest no matter what the situation is, no matter how many games you fit into a week, a month, a year. You played 60 games last year. Most of your position players played all 60. Your pitchers still got their 1 game a week. So your pitchers aren't fatigued. Some of these players probably are still a little fatigued from that. You're playing Some of them were playing 8 games a week at one point just to fit games in because of cancellations and rainouts and stuff like
the
that.
Marlins at like 9 a week for like 2 straight weeks or something.
Yeah, so you're sitting here and now you're telling some teams, like, listen, you just had 3 months off. You had to jump right into spring training, probably 2 months off, right into spring training, get right into it. You got to get it going right away now, where now you're like, okay, well, we just had a 60-game season. Our guys aren't in shape. They've got to play all spring to get them back into shape. And, like, the only guy that seems to be hitting phenomenal, there's 2 guys that are probably hitting phenomenal right now, and it's Mike Trout and JD Martinez, and everyone else is either average or below average. So it's one of those where it's like, okay, Trout's the best player in baseball, not really much of a dispute in my opinion. JD Martinez, one of the great power hitters in today's game. So it's one of those where it's like all these guys, though, are probably feeling some fatigue and some side effects from, we just played 60 games in 2 months. You literally had a game every day. Some of them had a doubleheader every day. But your pitchers are still getting their same rest no matter what. They're still doing their normal routine no matter what, where your position players no longer can. So I think there is some sort of fatigue factor thrown in there. And the shifts do have to stop. I can't stand it. You turn on the TV and you see a guy like Brett Gardner, who is not a power hitter. I don't care what anyone says, he's not a power hitter. And y'all are shifting for Brett Gardner. Y'all are shifting for guys that look like me. It needs to stop because it's ruining the game. It's annoying. I can't stand turning the TV on and sitting there and watching it and saying, oh, okay, they're shifting for Brett Gardner. They're shifting for trying to think of smaller guys in the league, but I just can't anymore.
Altuve, the midget.
Yeah, but he really hasn't always been a pull hitter. But it's stuff like that where guys that, their spray chart shows 33, 33, 34, and you're just playing them straight shift, straight pull. I hate it. Like, do away with it. The other night, they threw 4 guys in the outfield for Mike Trout, and he hit a home run. Just throwing that out there. But they put 4 guys in the outfield. You expect him to get a hit if he hits the ball in the air to the outfield? That ain't going to happen. The ball's in the air with 4 outfielders, someone's going to catch it. It's stupid. They need to come up with some sort. I know it's going to be tough to come up with a rule for shifting, but you got to find something.
What are your thoughts of 4 outfielders in softball?
Well, I mean, it's slow pitch softball. I don't care. It ain't as serious as the MLB.
You sound like you don't like the 4 outfielders.
I mean,
what would you think of shifting? What would you think of a 5 outfielders shift in slow pitch softball?
I mean, that wouldn't kill you because you still probably got 4 guys.
The thing about that is I've seen that before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care that you're having all these no-hitters. It's just they need to find something for the shifts. That's all I'm saying.
What would you think in slow pitch softball if they added 2 outfielders in the infield? It was a 6-person infield.
They've done that at the end of games before in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Where they're like, hey, this dude literally just hits nothing but ground balls. They're acting like David Eckstein's coming to the plate, going yard every time with these
David
shifts.
Eckstein.
When David Eckstein could barely hit the ball in the infield. That's me, but I'm just saying.
You ever hit a home run out of Vincent Park?
No.
Close? Off the fence? Ball?
Or if we're talking slow pitch softball, not even close.
Yeah, I've got a couple off the fence.
Talking slow pitch softball, not even close. You know me, line drive singles, baby, all day.
All right.
That's all you need.
We need to go. Let's go play tomorrow.
You need 3 hits in innings to get around.
Let's not go play out there tomorrow.
What's going on?
I gotta work tomorrow.
What's going on? Unless you got a paddle and some kayaks.
It's not supposed to rain this week.
We sell them.
The field.
We sell them. So I mean.
Yeah, so it works.
Mm-hmm. We have both in stock.
All right, you go do that, Nick. I'll watch Masked Singer.
All right.
Wait, who's ever playing at 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Nick, any thoughts from you over there? You've been quiet.
I had my thoughts. I thought I thought I said my thoughts.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I said about the no hitter. I said they're swinging to the fences too much. Yeah. But I like it. I like the no hitters. I like them a lot. But yeah, Paul, you can keep it on me though if we want to start this next topic.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll get right in it.
So this tweet was said a day ago.
Quote me on it.
Oh, so you said this yesterday.
Quote me on it.
Yeah, so SportsCenter tweeted the Jaguars are expecting to sign Tim Tebow, former Florida Gator quarterback great.
Former Syracuse Met legend.
Denver Bronco quarterback, great. New York Jets quarterback, great. And New York Mets, whatever positions he played, great. It says the Jaguars are expecting to sign Tim Tebow to a one-year contract to play tight end. First reported by NFL and confirmed by ESPN. Had to throw that in there, huh? ESPN. But anyway, Pat quoted. Is that what do you call that? Quote tweet. Man, I'm getting old. Quote tweeted. There's so much I want to say about this, but I'll bite my tongue. ... And then I replied.
Come on the pod tonight.
So
Here I am.
There you are, quote tweeting that. And I said, come on, fresh takes tonight and talk away. And one like, and I believe that was Paul.
It was.
So this is the tweet. I said that today. And changed the camera, and here we go. And here he is.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
I didn't know he was coming on until I walked in
Come on,
here.
Pat. Give it to us. Give it straight to our
I'm not giving you a Stephen A. moment. I'm not gonna. His first move is the New York Knicks front office exec, whatever. But
Urban Meyer's first move.
This might be a hot take. Probably be an extremely hot take.
Background: Pat is not a big Tim Tebow.
I don't
guy
like Tim Tebow. This is probably a
I
hot
honestly,
take.
Pat, hold on. Who do you hate more, Tebow or Urban Meyer?
Oh, Tebow, 100%.
Really?
Not even a discussion.
Let him continue.
It's not a discussion. This might be a hot take. I think this, when all is said and done, is going to go down as the most criticized and the worst signing in NFL history. And there's a lot of things I want to say. I'm going to start just by touching on the obvious one of you're telling me that Colin Kaepernick, a dude that's been working out for 5 years now, can't even get a backup job as a quarterback in the NFL, which is absolutely pathetic. I don't care what anyone says. This has to do with your connections, but if you're telling me Kaepernick doesn't have connections in the NFL still, then you are just absolutely idiotic. I won't entertain any sort of argument that Tim Tebow should be a tight end when you had Hunter Henry and Jared Cook as free agents this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't give a single one of them a call. You didn't ask them to come in for an interview, a meeting, whatever they had to do to get two veteran, proven top 10 tight ends in this league to your team.
Isn't Njoku a free agent too?
Not this year. He re-signed with Cleveland, I think, for one more.
Ah.
So you had two top 10 tight ends in this league as free agents you refused to call. You did not want anything to do with them. And then the second Tim Tebow calls Urban Meyer and says, I want to be a tight end, you let them make this decision. This has everything to do with his privilege. This has everything to do with Tim Tebow failing as a quarterback, failing in baseball, and now failing as a tight end. His career since he left college has been nothing short of pure failure. And he, again, is going to prove it. This dude, I think he's a phenomenal sportscaster, a phenomenal reporter, and that's what he should stick to. Because as a quarterback, you were told the first time, hey, you can be a tight end with Denver. I don't want it. Hey, you can be a tight end for Tom Brady. You can play with Gronk. I don't want it. Hey, you can be a tight end for the Jets. We got Mark Sanchez. I don't want it. Then you decide to leave and go play baseball after your stats for football proved you shouldn't have been a quarterback. And your baseball stats barely got you to AAA.
He was an all-star at AA.
Congratulations.
AA is where you make or break.
His career average was like 230. I don't
Which is
care.
the average in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, right now. For the years he was playing, it was far below average. As a quarterback, your completion percentage was 47% for your career, and that's because your completions for the Jets were 6 for 8 and 3/4 of play. That saved your completion percentage as a quarterback. I don't care what anyone has to say. This has everything to do with the fact that Tim Tebow has been given every opportunity under the sun, has consistently shown he can't do it, and is now being given one more shot. And he's going to fail miserably. And I'm going to be waiting for that moment. This is terrible. This is pathetic. Because you even have guys that are working their butts off to get to that point. And Urban Meyer says, no, I don't want a guy who's done it before. Give me my quarterback from 13 years ago that hasn't played football in 10 years to be a tight end, a position he refused to play for, at the time, 3 phenomenal franchises, 3 phenomenal organizations. He had his opportunity before. At the time, the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Jets.
Terry, put that thing in reverse about the Jets.
In the early 2010s,
They were good.
they were a good organization.
Maybe on the field.
And they could have used the tight end. You had your chance already. This has everything to do.
In Tebow's defense at the Jets, I mean, it was Mark freaking Sanchez.
Yeah, got them to back-to-back AFC title games.
Courtesy of that defense.
Okay, so we can talk a lot about some things done with that. But
Yeah, I figured
we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, we taking away Eli Manning's 2 Super Bowls now?
Yeah, no, they don't count because of the defense.
But this is... Wait a second.
This is literally one of those situations where, again, you had available tight ends. You had veteran tight ends who are still... Jared Cook, I'm pretty sure, is older than Tebow, but you had Hunter Henry. I don't care about his injury history. If Hunter Henry, a top 5 tight end in the league, is available, I don't care that I got Travis Kelce or George Kittle. I'm calling him. I'm calling Hunter Henry and saying, hey, do you want to be number 2 here? Because we can shift one of y'all out to be a slot receiver. He's got the potential to do that. Tim Tebow hasn't played football since 2012, and you're telling me this is the man that's getting a shot right now? Even after Kaepernick put that 49ers offense on his back and took y'all to a Super Bowl and decided to kneel for the anthem, you let him go? You won't let him come back? But y'all let Tim Tebow come back? That's literally all I need. This is just blatant stupidity. Call a spade a spade. He doesn't deserve this chance. He doesn't.
I have a comment. Screen. Producer.
Sorry, I was reading
Yeah. You're not supposed to be reading anything.
Reading an
No, we
update.
know. You do that all the time.
Reading an update. Calm down.
This kid is a gamer, and he is a winner back in 2012. Now I don't think he's going to do much.
He wasn't a winner in 2012. I'll give you like 2010.
You don't remember that big winning streak? That was all over the news.
In 2012 with the Jets? Where he was 6 for 8 on the year?
Or 2010,
There
I'm
you
sorry.
go. With Denver, I'll give you.
Yeah, with them.
Not with the
You remember
Jets.
that winning streak?
Yeah, I also remember a 5-yard slant that Demaryius Thomas ran for 75 yards.
That was the playoffs. But, he was a good quarterback. I think just, this is life. This is any job. I don't know what you call it, but it's just, if you know people, you get jobs. Urban Meyer's his buddy. He got this job. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
It's his buddy. It's his job.
Just because he knows him doesn't mean he deserves it, though.
It's like how Antonio Brown got on the Bucs. He's buddies with Brady. It's just how it works.
Right.
I don't know.
But also at that time, Brown had been working out still and still running routes.
I just don't
on his
know. I
own
just don't
plan.
understand why Tim Tebow wants to keep doing things. Like why he was working for like the SEC network or something like that. I thought he moved on.
Because he had faded away from the public eye, so he needs to come back.
Yeah, he might be that.
He needs to remind America that he's America's child. I don't like Tebow at all.
Yep. I don't know. I wish him the best, but I don't know how long it can last.
He'll be a free agent by week 3.
I think this is it's obviously blown up because it's Tebow, but this is really a minor league signing. I don't think they're really thinking about Tebow to be their starting tight end. I think this is like a backup role, a guy they just throw in there. I don't know. One thing they need to stop doing is showing that one play that they threw to him. Like, that was not his fault in that play at all. That was a terrible throw. He was not ready, and it was well covered. So if they keep judging him off that, like, that's his tight end experience, that's bad. I mean, that was years ago, too. So we'll see. This is an interesting signing, but it's not surprising because of Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, like you guys have said, this all comes pretty much down to Urban Meyer, which we can't be surprised about. It is what it is to a degree, but there was one part I do disagree about with Pat. Being a fan of the Washington football team. Can I introduce you to Albert Hainsworth? for potential worst signing in NFL history.
He's still trying out his physicals.
That hurts. It's funny, but it hurts.
Albert Hainsworth failed his 4th straight physical.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, the one that kills me really in this is Hunter Henry because of his youth. When he's healthy, man, he's top 5 tight end easy. And they're just going with Tebow because, he came in and ran pretty good. And I know him. Sure, let's give him a contract. And it's not like Jacksonville, sure, they do need help tight end wise, but O'Shaughnessy's not that bad of a tight end.
And he's going to be the starting tight end.
Yeah. But like Pat said, if you can get a guy like Henry, you try and get him.
I would have
Up until 2 weeks ago, Jordan Reed was still available before he retired. Try and get Jordan Reed.
I think end of the day, they're just trying to look at Tebow as a trick play kind of guy.
Well, that's the thing in this, right? Is I think we all know it's going to really be half his play set out there. We know he's probably not going to be out there blocking. I mean, unless they're running an extreme like jumbo set or whatever anyway. But usually on those, you have the extra linemen come in and check in anyway. You're literally going to be planning for what you do with Taysom Hill. If that's what we want to do, go sign Taysom Hill. At least he's established in the league, I guess. I don't know, and I'm not a Taysom Hill guy at all.
Trevor Lawrence a big fan of this?
We're going to find out.
I mean, if you're Trevor, I guess you might be excited because you got a guy who, at least is a professional in that locker room. You know he's going to be professional. I mean, that's about it. You might be able to learn from, what not to do as a lefty quarterback who's mobile. I don't know. And I'm a Tebow guy. I think I don't think in his quote-unquote prime, he should have moved the tight end at all. That's my opinion, whatever. But I don't know what he's doing now. He's going to be, 35 or something like that? 36? What's he doing?
I thought he was good in the booth, in the studio.
He was good.
He knows his stuff. I'm
Listen
not going to take that away from
SEC
him. He
game
just
day,
shouldn't be
whatever
playing
you wanna
football
call it.
anymore.
I don't know. I knew as soon as he retired from baseball, something was up.
I mean, he was bad at baseball. So he could have been retiring to retire.
He would have, for sure, probably been the starting right fielder at Syracuse this year.
Well, yeah, because money talks.
Yeah, now we get our dome dog and not watch Tebow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Good. Now I can actually go to a game and be happy. Actually, if I watch Tebow
get
strike
your
out
dome dog
and
and we'll watch the game.
Speaking of dome dogs, thank you guys for tuning in. Pat, big thanks for coming on.
No problem. Can we go back to my fun fact? I do have a fun fact.
That's I forgot all about that.
So in high school, learned about Teddy Roosevelt. I love Teddy Roosevelt just because his name is Teddy Roosevelt. He was a pretty dope guy. He had a pet hyena.
Wait,
Take
what?
that for what it's worth.
Wait a second.
He had a pet hyena.
That's somehow only the second craziest thing I know about Teddy Roosevelt, but
Love Teddy.
Wow, I forgot about the fun facts.
Mm-hmm. Bringing it back.
Let's see if Nick remembered somebody to shout out today.
Yes. I'm getting ready to watch the Knicks game here tonight.
Oh, my God.
Julius
I guess LeBron is worth 1.5 because the Knicks were a 4.5 point underdog. Now they're a 3-point underdog. But if you're out at Del Lago right now, watch this on your phone. I know there's people out there, a bunch of people at Del Lago right now watching us on their phone.
Probably being streamed on the big screen.
Yeah, we better be. Yeah.
The amount of money I give that
If you're out there right now, take a lock for me, raise it or lower it, however you say it. Knicks -5. I got it. You'll have it.
Is this the shout out? What's going on?
And
Shout out the whole Knicks.
remember we used to have the lock of the week?
Yeah,
Bring back
but
the lock
I
of the week.
mean,
And you will go home with some money. So realistically, take the +3. But if you want to be ballsy, take the -5 Knicks, and we'll both be happy. But my shout out for the day is a former guest on this podcast, my cousin Steve Cristani.
Steve.
His birthday was last Saturday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
belated.
Steve. Shout out.
All right.
Steve. And thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, Pat. If you guys haven't already, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff for Fair Lakes 1. We'll catch you guys next time on the Fresh Takes podcast.